Tim Scandrett also put in an apology as well.
Okay, thanks for that. Yep, Sarah moving. Yep, thank you. So did you catch that, Amy, Sarah and Kia?
Yep, thank you.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Secondly, we've got declarations of interest. So this is if anybody has anything to gain, or they might be perceived to have anything to gain from any of the decisions we're making here today. I've got a declaration of interest with the Annington Farm, which I'll talk about when we get to that item. Do we have anyone else have any declarations of interest? No, cool. You have a mover?
You don't need a mover for that one.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Easy as. Confirmation of previous minutes. I'd like to move that the previous minutes be accepted. Do you have a second? Yeah, Tim. And myself and Tim Lindley. All right, so now we have public forum. This is the best part of the meeting. So this is a chance for anybody from the community to come in and talk to the board. You can either come and walk off the street unannounced if you like, but we appreciate all of you guys letting us know in advance who you are and why here. So I'm excited to hear from all of you. And firstly, it's Helene and Helen from Age Friendly. Age Friendly Spreydon Cashmere. Long time no see. Oh,
Yes,
do you have the PowerPoint, Amy?
I have it.
Oh, right.
So
Is it-
Amy needs to stop sharing at her end, and I will share here.
And Helene and Helen, would you just mind turning on your microphone in front of you?
You did know they are now. You hear it now?
Yep, and just make sure that it's pointed at your mouth. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Okay, first, I'd just like to thank the board for the opportunity to speak this afternoon. And that helps, yes. Yes, part of the Age Friendly Spreydon Cashmere committee, and this committee was established under the initiative of the community board in 2018 when we had a formal launch. The goals of the committee, when it was first started and continues to be, is that we want to develop a strategic approach to address older adult isolation through local projects. And the outcomes that we're hoping to achieve are thriving communities, connected places, social and cultural well-being, where the needs and aspirations are met. Next.
I don't know why it's not moving. Sorry.
Read up screen or down screen.
Yeah, it's not. One moment. I don't know why it's not doing it. Okay, when yeah. So
It's an extra challenging meeting for just the end of the year. Just to make us sweat.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I'm just going to have to leave it in this mode because I can't find a button going sideways.
That's good.
In my,
Okay, the work of the
Right,
committee
okay.
has been an ongoing collaboration effort among the Christchurch City Council staff, representatives of the community board, and some volunteers from the community. And the first task we undertook was to investigate age-friendly plans and strategies that are used in communities around New Zealand and around the world. And what we found was that most of the organizations were using the World Health Organization's what they call the checklist of essential features, essential features, and these were used almost uniformly around. So we decided that we would adopt those 8 areas to investigate. With the size of our community, we decided that we would work on the 4 that are highlighted in red. Okay, next. Oh, okay, so those are, all right, well, sorry, well, the way we work, what what we do is that we raise and explore issues and we then advocate for those solutions. And there are, an advocacy takes on many different forms. And we've had deputations and information to the community board all along, written submissions, keeping oral submissions to support the written ones. We've had a lot of meetings with both elected members and with staff from local government and ECAN and the city council, and meeting with people in the community also. We've done literature researches to find issues and to understand the issues. And we've initiated some reports. A particular one from Dunedin was on the looking at our ward, the Spreydon and the Cashmere wards at that time, on transportation. We also raise issues such as looking at the temporary, closure of the community, of the library, and what effect that will have on older people within the community. And we've had an article in the Southern View. Okay, the next one. Okay, we have three different subcommittees we can go to talk about. The Transportation Committee, which I am on. The overview is that we want everyone in Spreydon Cashmere over the age of 65 years to have acceptable and affordable transport options to enable for their social and economic participation. And we take a very broad look at transportation. It's not just buses or taxis. We see just walking, cycling, and the bulleted areas there are just things that we considered, but we're not limited to that. We've also had some achievements over the last couple of years. The gold card access is now fully free for people with the gold card after 9 a.m. There used to be free bus service after 9 a.m., but then stopping between 3:30 and 6:30. We thought that didn't make sense. So we advocated for that, and that was passed. The other thing that we accomplished was there was a $10 minimum top up on the Metro card. And again, we heard from people and saying $10 for a lot of people is a lot of money, could it be less? So we suggested $5, and that was approved also. We've also, through the community board, we've submitted some suggestions for what we call rest seating along popular routes. So if someone wants to walk from their home to a bus stop or even to the supermarket, they can rest along the way, someplace to sit. And so we've identified some areas for that, and also an ongoing project is looking at seating at bus stops. Next. Okay, the housing subcommittee, of which Helen is a member, recognizes that good housing is more than just an apartment. It includes such issues as well-being and the health of people, and looking to the future, seeing what needs are for people, and including and for older people to be able to make choices in their lives, where they want to live and what they want to do. And the submission to the Housing and Urban Development in 2021, they submitted that, well, in order to achieve healthy housing, you have to look at other issues, and those issues are walkable, and I'm sorry, it's hard for me to read, they're very about walkable, neighborhoods. There, thank you. Thank you very much. Walkable neighborhoods, enabling aging in place, which means that those people want to stay home, can stay home, balanced housing, age mix, accessible outdoor areas, and the use of the World Health Organization age-friendly cities lens, which are the areas I talked about before. Okay. In social participation and outcomes, the council staff here in the South Library put together the activities and services guide for older adults, and that's been distributed throughout the board. And the committee itself created this emergency information card, which is a small card to be put into your wallet, so that if you cannot give your you're unable to speak at a time or give information about yourself, and in emergencies, the minimum information, your name, contact details, and the DP name phone number. So to get started, and the final one, the last string is our future. And what we say, the committee asks the community board to continue its endorsement and support of the age-friendly committee. And the committee also requests that the community board support to invite the Heathcote Board membership and participation in our program, in our committee. And thank you.
I have to go on forever. I think the important aspect of housing is not just about the roof over one's head, but that ties into all of the other aspects of what we are advocating for. Well-being isn't just about health in terms of medical, mental health. It's also about ensuring that people in neighbourhoods and communities are connected up in a way that they feel that they belong, in sense of belonging. And to do that, we really do need to work more smartly even in terms of identifying some of the barriers that so many of our older people and indeed many people are facing today. And that is a reality that the aging population is going to find it increasingly difficult to find secure homes, safe, secure homes. And the other aspect of that is the future build of homes. And be serious that building for life is taken very seriously. So that when one ages or change, the circumstances change, as it does for all of us at different times in our life. It doesn't mean that families have to be moved on or moved out. So thinking about that creates a whole different mindset around how our villages start looking in the future.
Thank you both for coming. And I just want to say it's incredibly impressive what the committee's been able to achieve. You're really punching like your weight in terms of the transport stuff that you can in particular has helped so many people, not just within the Spreydon Cashmere area, but across the whole region. And I'm sure I speak on behalf of the board when I say we wholeheartedly endorse your continued work and the expansion to the Heathcote area as well. Yes. I don't know if there's any brief comment, but
No, just I guess just that my assumption for the next steps would be that there'll be the government staff will put you in contact with people in the board who are working in a similar space, but not specifically on the committee currently. So some of Aging and Trust and others who do some work with people on social isolation and those kind of things for older community members.
Can I just say thank you to Jane, and particularly Jane, who does the fabulous behind the scenes and make sure that we actually know what it is that we just
Thanks for that. All right, next up we've got Hannah. Is that how I say it? Next Hannah from the city here, just provide an update. Is that right, Hannah?
Yes, an
Introduction.
Okay, let me do that. I thought I had like 2 weeks.
Hello everyone. So my name is Hannah from City Care Property, and I am currently the community activator, soon to be community partnership advisor. So my role was a newly established role at City Care Property. I remember one of the first few community boards was when Sarah was there. I went to community board meetings that I know people such as felt comfortable with. Yeah. So in the last 1.5 years now, it has been 1.5 years. Wow. I have established many great relationships with a number of elected members of council in a few wards. The council governance team across Christchurch and some of the other wards, and some other organizations within the CCHL groups, and the who is who in the community and social spaces, for example, community leads in 4 community groups. So City Care Property in the past 1.5 years has actively sought and supported community initiated efforts through various means, including providing resources that might not be available to community groups, either for free or through utilizing our relationships with our suppliers and partners. Where and when we are not able to provide assistance, we also try our best to facilitate connections. So a bit of background on me. I founded Aotearoa Multicultural Women Association in Christchurch 2 years ago in response to the March 15 attacks. We collaborate with various other organizations, organizing programs and opportunities to support all wahine from all cultures and backgrounds. I also founded and I'm still running Aotearoa Adaptive Archery and Archery Coaching and Advocacy Service for Tamariki and Rangatahi with disabilities, which I run with Christchurch Archery Club, where I am also the Diversity and Inclusion Advisor. So I do this at no cost for the whānau and the Tamariki. And I'm also currently serving my 3rd year as a board member for Archery New Zealand, which provides governance to the sport and archery and all our members nationally. And I chair the Wellbeing and Inclusion Committee for Archery New Zealand as well. Oh, it's not, I'm not over yet. I am the International and Foundation Director for Horn Bay Rotary Club, of which some notable members are Councillor Mark Peters and MP Megan Wood. So wearing so many hats and being actively involved in the community made it easy for me to help City Care establish this role. I understand the pain points of community groups and I can empathize with the issues that they face. After 1.5 years of actively working with some of the elected council members, the community development and recreation advisors, and also the community partnership ranger, I also understand the pain point from council's end. So one of the first activities that I helped organize and which I project managed was Brighten Up Brighton, which happened last year in October 2021 after the lockdown. So that was quite chaotic to have to plan a very big event with very, very strict restrictions. I worked very closely with Councillor Celeste Donovan and Joseph Ross, the community board member for New Brighton, as well as other council staff and community leaders. So some of the projects that we have supported in the last 1.5 years were big and needed long-term supporting, such as building a studio for blind and deaf artist Donald Gibson at the New Brighton Community Garden, and the moving of Riccarton Community Garden from its previous place on Peveril Street, which is on Kainga Ora land, to a new place on Dilworth Street, which is run by Council Parks. So there was a lot of bureaucracy going around, so it's quite hard. And the community group was run by 2 elderly people who needed a lot more help, especially with technology and stuff like that. So that's where I come in to help them. And others were short with immediate impact, such as planting and mulching at Hey Hey Community Centre in Waikola Park, where I work very closely with Bailey Peterson and Sam Savage, as well as Holly Whittaker. And others are even shorter, such as donating mulch generated from our tree steam to community groups and gardens. So I am exploring more opportunities where City Care can make a positive impact for our tangata and our environment. While I cannot say yes to everything, although I would love to, I'm not the boss, that should not stop anyone from reaching out. Or if you have a great idea for a community initiative or project that City Care and potentially some of our other organizations within CCHL might be able to support or partner with. And on a side note, because you don't have a 5-minute timer, I'm just going to go for it.
I'll start.
I am also a Tafariki champion. So Tafariki is a cross collaboration platform for all CCHL groups, and council has just joined in. So welcome, council. So anyone with at ccc.gov.nz, you can join the Tafariki platform. It is awesome. It is a cross collaboration platform where you get to do projects with a lot of other CCHL members. And Yeah, so I do encourage you to try it. It is great, and Claire Piper is the champion for City Council.
Cool.
Yeah, so just reach out to her, or you can email me as well. But don't go over her because she is still the champion for council. All right, so this is my name card. I am giving it away because it's changing to community partnership advisor, but for environmental purposes, I want to finish this first. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anna. You have a couple minutes for discussion. Awesome. Yeah. Well, great to meet you. You sound like a fantastic person for the board to know. I can already think of a couple of groups that might be interested in talking to you around, especially like the community garden side of things. We've got Christchurch South Community Gardens, Addington Farm. I'm not as familiar with Heathcote yet, but some of the places here. So excellent. Well, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Have we any questions from the rest of the board?
Is it just to do with gardens? or-
No. So the reason for my role change is that we have developed our program, or we are looking at developing our program to having a bigger impact. So that it will take a longer process, but compared to just putting in mulch for a community garden, that's quite easy. I don't have to ask permission for it, but I'm looking at bigger, more positive projects. So if you have an idea, I can still try and push the right button and work on it. Oh no, this is recorded. Yeah, but I'll try and work on it and see what we can do. So one of the first project I actually did was during the lockdown with Christchurch aunties. So that's not a community garden. So City Care Property, we helped them collect goods and delivered it during the lockdown for women and families who are experiencing family violence. Because we obviously have a response team, and we were able to go out during the lockdown period. Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming. Nice to meet you. And
Thank you.
I'll be in touch.
Yeah, on a personal level, I live on Henderson's Road. I am on the Horsewell side. We need a traffic light. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, Ben, I can see why you're a champion. That's great. Thanks, Hannah. So Rowley Resource Centre was going to come today, they've postponed to next year. So next up we've got Malcolm Robertson. Thanks for the introduction before about the meeting room charges at South Library. So fire away, it's 5 minutes. As you've seen, it's a slightly stretchy 5 minutes. But,
Thank you.
I won't waffle. Just in the beginning, let everybody know something about U3A, University of the Third Age group. Farmers would say it's an age group, the holding pen era, of well-aged adults and seniors. We meet once a month at the St. Martin's Church. We currently have about 185 members, predominantly female, I would say 90-odd%. We have a guest speaker, and then we have at least 14 interest groups, which is probably one of the strengths of Port Hill's U3A compared to other ones. Now, the contentious area at the moment is we have 6 groups that use the facilities here for meetings, and they now want to charge us, whereas before we haven't been charged. Now I go back to correspondence I had with Joe Wells, manager covenants on the 11th of April of this year. I've discussed your request with relevant staff that agreed you'll be able to make room bookings at no charge for 12-month period, and that you will need to pay the relevant booking fee to book meetings. But after that. So what I forgot to ask Joe was, why do we need to pay after that when they've given us a window period of approximately 12 months? Now, my contention is that the library facility here whether it's for individuals or the U3As, which are a community organisation, then, you know, they're not a commercial operation, they're not for profit. And I see the library facility here for community. The other area is the members of the U3A that I belong to. As I said, predominantly seniors, aged seniors, some very aged, and they're not wealthy. And as we all saw in the press yesterday, food prices have gone up 10.7%. Now, the charges are not astronomical. I mean, $15 an hour, let's say we're there for 2 hours, $30, 10 people, $3 an hour. I mean, I can't disagree, that's not a large sum of money. But to people that are on a budget and counting every dollar, it is. So I'm asking this group that they seriously consider that we, the U3A, with our 6 different groups, I'll just let you know who they are. We've got, this is per month. We've got writing life stories, controversial current affairs, which I go through myself, that's usually for a couple of hours. We have the travel group, science discussion group, book discussion group, and actually our committee, we meet here on the last Friday of the month. So that's where we're at the moment. And I would like it. I really feel that it's not necessary to charge us. Okay. Didn't really want to question me on anything.
We've got 2 of them, Mel and Sarah. Do you want to start now?
This has been brought up by another group a wee while ago. And
Sorry, could you speak up on a little bit, please?
this was brought up by another group a wee while ago, and I asked about it. Do you use the rooms that are in this part of the library?
Yes, there's a couple of rooms down the hallway there.
Right.
Our committee, which I'm chairman of, we use this room. The controversial group actually use the cafe facilities. The cafe owner seems quite happy to be there as long as they're having a coffee.
So this is not really a question, but it's a statement. You're right. Those rooms weren't in the annual plan for charging, which is why there's no charge at the moment. And so it will be up to councillors to make a decision for the next annual plan as to whether those rooms are actually charged. I think staff are intending for it to be charged, but it's not currently on the list, and that'll be something that councillors can make a decision about, and potentially the board's about on to the annual plan, which is the budget for the following year.
That sounds hopeful.
Yeah, potentially. Don't hold us to or me.
Sarah?
So mine actually just follows on from that, and that, you know, council in our public briefing the other day did ask for staff to come back with proposals for fees and charges across council activities, which will include room hires. The final decision on that won't be until after the consultation and the annual plan, and won't be till June. So what I would suggest is that our board look at our submission, but also that you and your colleagues all submit when the annual plan comes in, and come and talk to council on it as well, and the importance and the financial stresses and those kind of things when it comes to that, because it's a decision that council will make.
When will that come out?
So the consultation, we'll sign it off in February, the draft, and then consultation will be in March. Yeah. So at that point, it will be time to submit. And I'm just wondering if we can just make sure that we can send through the link to you and the other community groups and things we need.
Well, Amy, the
yeah.
other person I've been talking to is Amy Hart of it. She's here.
Yeah, she's up on the screen there.
So
Amy.
So Malcolm, I think we've got a bit of a path forward. So And I think it was Jermaine, of course, to raise inflation, because I mean, one of the things, not to say I'll work with council, but council was also experiencing a huge amount of cost inflation as well, and it's looking at every dollar. So this will be something that will be scrutinised by in that annual plan process. So we can make sure, I guess, yes, so to send you information when the time comes for how to submit on that process, and we'll consider your comments today as well when we make a submission on the plan too.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
and,
Malcolm.
thank you for giving me the time.
Thanks, Michael.
Callum, would you want to agree, suggest that the board agree to consider including that point in your annual plan submission when you come to prepare it?
Yep. Thanks.
As, yeah, if the rest of the board is happy with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Across that community.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for that. Okay, so that's all for public forum. We've got no deputations today, no presentation of petitions. So next up, we've got a series of traffic changes with Tony along Major Aiken Drive, Selwyn Street and Stanley Street. I'm proposing to take these reports as read, if we're all happy with that. Although there was comment on.
The first one, no, because there's a slight change to it.
Oh, yes,
Amy's going to
correct.
speak to the Major Aiken Drive one now before we start.
Yeah, Tony probably has some things to add as well, but in a snapshot, recommendation, let me just get down to it. Sorry, my computer's just saving, but recommendation 1B, Tony's had a request from an affected party for some more information on that. So she would like the board to not make a decision on that today, and she'll bring a report back just for that one portion to a future meeting. So that's in attachment B in the agenda, but Tony will talk to that in more detail.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it. So if we can just exclude resolution B and attachment B from the decision today, and then we'll come back to the board in the new year on that one.
Does that make sense to everybody around what we're talking about with resolution 1B? Still Major Aiken Drive.
Just, if it's only 1B, then you have to write a whole new report, and take the time to do that and get it signed off with the process, or is it easier to just let this report lie on the table until you get back to that, or do you think it'll be changing the recommendation, or is it?
I'm unsure at this stage, but yeah, I'd rather that one be considered together. Yeah. So I did consult individually on each of the three plans, so because they're on the same road, I included them in the same report. They are essentially three individual proposals.
That makes things easy. Right, do you have a move to accept the report?
And move the other two, we'll get the rest of it.
Yeah, so except other than part B. Yeah. Second to Tim. So that was Sarah and Tim. All those in favour? Against, abstentions carried. Cool. And so now we've got 367 and 386 Selwyn Street bus stop markings. This one looks fairly uncontroversial for me. I think we'll take that as read if there's no changes. Yeah.
Is it usual for these to come, because sometimes bus stop markings happen, don't they? Or do they always come to us even if they're missed? Do they always come with the, so even if it's an existing bus stop, if we have to mark a bus box in those stopping lines, we always bring it to you.
Cool. Do you want to move them?
Yeah.
I'll second. That was Mel and me. All those in favour? Aye. Against, abstentions carried. Oh, hi Lee. Glad you could join us. So next up, Stanley Street. Yeah, this one's a little bit, very minor changes, I suppose, but fairly uncontroversial as well. We did have one opposing submission. So
Yeah, so I asked Sally about that. She said it was
So the original proposal had markings across the driveway. And someone was opposed to that, and they also wanted, they were opposed to someone else having markings across the driveway when they didn't have them. And it's not our standard to include them over driveways, so she's needed a plan to take that out.
Okay. Cool. All right, we're happy with that. You want to have a mover?
Happy to.
Seconder? Roy, all right, we've got Sarah and Roy. Excellent, thanks everyone. Thank you so much, Tony, appreciate it.
Sorry, that was Sarah and
And Roy.
Roy.
Oh, sorry.
We need to move it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, we had mover was,
yeah, yeah. And now you need to.
Yeah,
get
yeah, right,
vote.
yeah.
Sorry,
All in
vote,
favour?
vote, yeah.
Aye.
thanks.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got Gainsborough Reserve, Orion easement over the reserve. I'm guessing they're not Elizabeth Hoskins.
I'm not Elizabeth.
There's a little button. Oh, yeah.
Green light.
So most of you know me, I'm Ian Smith. Elizabeth's one of my staff, but because I was coming here with Russell to do the next report, I said I'd front this one for her. This is just formalising a legal arrangement around an existing Orion cable and substation. It's not uncommon, and these are usually triggered by a request from Orion. They're doing a bit of a transformer upgrade here on one of the substations, and in doing that, they've identified they don't have a formal easement for the existing infrastructure, so we're just formalising that, which quite a sensible thing to do.
Cool, thanks. Sarah? Yep, Sarah's moving. We have a seconder.
Happy to move. Happy to second, sorry.
Lee's going to second. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against, abstentions carried. Right, thanks, Angus. Courtney? Yeah, there you go. And yeah, Russell, if you wanted to come join for the South Christchurch Farmers Market. The final postscript.
Yes, this is basically seeking, it's a board delegation
Yep.
to authorise the licence, so we're just tidying up that technicality.
Mhm.
It's pretty simple issue. I think everybody's very happy with the market. It's a successful outcome all around.
Excellent. I totally agree. I think you've done really well. A good example of council not letting red tape get in the way of the right outcome. So yeah, thanks for that. Lee, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, obviously, we've got the 91 budget for the future to do the naturalization. At what point will there be a conversation with the board about what that looks like?
So at the moment, there's money to do the first section, which I think is about 2 meters from the road. But there isn't actually, I believe there's no other money in the budget for the remaining part of it. And that was why we were suggesting to give them a lease for the license plate, which he was, but to allow a provision in there that we've actually changed the area they're using. That money should come available to visualize the rest of it.
Yeah, I guess more from a design, like, design perspective is. Do I have some kind of idea about like the sequencing, about we will have a conversation about what parks and things?
Sorry, some sticky. So this is, yes, so that the naturalization of this area is part of the Heathcote River. Master.
Heathcote Linear Master.
Yeah, that was developed quite a few years ago. And so there are actually plans in that.
Lee, did you want to say or ask anything?
No, just echo what you said. It's yep. I'm just pleased that we've got to get there. It's such an embraced asset for the community. So yep. No, I'm nothing to ask. No, that's fine.
Thanks, Lee. And I'm sure as well, I'm sure if Tim was here, he'd wax lyrical on the virtues of what's happened here. So thank you both. Would you have a moment for this report? Kia and a seconder.
I'd be happy to.
All right, Lee. Fantastic. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against, abstentions carried.
Right, thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yeah.
Apologies, I should just very quickly, I should have said this earlier, but just also just acknowledge the community, particularly Mike Fisher, for the work that he's done on this. It's been really cool seeing the this community going together on this. But now we're forward that it's been a really great effort and it's been awesome.
Thanks, yeah. Sarah.
I think this is a really good news to responder. Is that the sort of thing that the beauty lines for?
And the community board newsletter.
Easy just to share.
Cool. Okay. So next up, we've got funding. I don't know, Grace, if you want to talk a little bit about, I mean, we've obviously split it out a bit this time, as opposed to doing it all in a big chunk.
For the folk from the mid-central Heathcote, this isn't new, but for Spreydon Cashmere folk, we are presenting all of these separately because it is much easier for the public to search and find the information when it's not DRF various.
Mel?
I've got a question about all that funding because each one refers to the amount remaining, assuming that none of the others have been, and I didn't bother to get out my calculator. So can you tell me if we say yes to the whole lot, how much it
You
is?
will use $7,080 and you will be left with $12,930.66.
Okay.
17,080, 12,000.
Yeah.
Wait.
So you're starting on 19,993. So these come to 7,080 and then that leaves 12,930.66 for the remainder of the year.
Cool.
June 30.
That's not too unhealthy. Cool. Okay, so first up, Summer Bay's Union Trust. So that's the auction we visited, isn't it, on the bus trip?
We drove past very quickly. I'm not sure if all members would have seen that.
Oh, right, okay. I'm not sure I'm thinking of the right thing.
It's up close to the Danish area
Oh, yeah.
on one of those.
I'm happy to move.
I'm happy to see.
We've got any discussion here?
I just have a quick question, which is, this land is former red zone land, is that right?
Yes, it is.
So, yeah, I just want to double check that, I had shared one of the people involved a couple of weeks back, because they raised some, because of the nature of the former red zone, like leases, and then it's where it built back into the road, and it's specifically had a longer license lease granted. I'm not sure whether that is I would be keen, not know obviously, that if we can get an update on the status of the land tenure there, just because it would be cool to make sure that we are, if they are looking for anything further, whether we can get involved.
Yes.
I'd like to make a few questions before, but yeah, just to clarify the land tenure.
We can follow up on that. The others that has been a longer term lease recently negotiated,
Yeah,
and it is on the understanding that the development work in Clarendon is described in this application will keep happening.
that's great.
Bill?
I just wanted to ask how long that lease actually is. You said it's longer, but is it 10 years or?
I'll come back to you on that.
Excellent. I was just thinking as well that maybe this is the kind of group that could benefit with the connection with someone like Hannah. If they've got any landscaping needs, but cool. Have we got any other discussion? All those in favour? Yes, abstentions carried. So next up, we've got the Australian School Volleyball Championships. Do we have a mover? Yeah, do we move and then discuss? Or?
No, questions first.
Question.
And then, yeah.
This is just unusual for us because it's as a group, which we haven't previously really done for Australian. But I see it's less than $100 per student anyway. Is there any comment?
So because Spreydon Cashmere Heathcote don't do youth developments, if it's more than 3, it comes to us as the DRO. So, so that's how it works. So once you've got more than 3 people going on the same project, then they will no longer go through as individual youth development fund applications. So it's come through to the discretionary response fund. Same with the next one, which is the Scouts. It's come through to here for exactly the same way as that. So you're not going to get the same amount going to each individual person in a group. So this is a group of 6, and the other one's a group of 14. Does that make sense? Okay.
Any other questions? You want to move? I'll move. Second. Sarah, happy to second. All those in favour? Against, abstentions carried. So now we've got Scout Jamboree. So this is a similar situation. Got 14 kids this time.
14, yeah, 14 young people, and I just checked, just so that you know, with the they've currently managed to raise 16,000. They've done a huge amount of fundraising to get 16,000 towards the alternative Scout Jamboree, and this is a request for 1,000 to go towards the same project. Pretty cool.
Yep, any questions? Anyway, what's a jamboree? Great question, Roy. What is a jamboree?
A big collection of scouting that all come together to do a whole heap of activities and things.
Do all the scouting together.
Yeah, scouting together, Roy.
Yeah. Imagine we'll be tying all the knots and things.
Cooking over
Yeah.
campfires.
Yeah. Although we definitely know what we're talking about. Yeah.
I like being on the guide.
Yeah.
I've
Oh, there you go.
got Jamboree too.
Yeah. But I like to be.
It's not a conflict of interest, is it? No.
Although when it comes to conflicts, you have to, these are interesting, the way this is done now with groups. We found this in the previous term, where because it's a group, you actually have to read down through the report to see the list of kids' names. And it wasn't until partway through a report that I found my kids' names.
Oh,
So we need to adjust funding a bit to the past time because
oh gosh, yeah, that's
my
gross.
kids couldn't get money from council.
Yeah. All right, so you've all read the list of the kids' names. I hope. Yeah. I don't have any kids yet, so I should be all right. Anyone in the room? We're always going to move. Anyone seconding? I'll second. Oh, yeah. I'll second. Cool. All those in favour? Against, abstentions carried. All right, so this is, next one's from Te Kohanga Reo o Te Whānau Tahi. Cool. Jim, I'm really excited about this one, to be honest, because I think that that's a part of our community that we've not yet really built a strong connection with. But yeah, hear a bit more about that and what that's been like.
So it's not, when I've made a connection with Ida, so it was good for me to actually make that connection. I think Jay knew them, because Jay worked in that space before I did, and it's really exciting to know that they're looking at doing a 14th anniversary celebration. They're looking at doing quite a big celebration, and obviously depending on the amount of money that they actually get coming through, because there are funds funding elsewhere, will determine how much they're able to do in that particular space. But there's things like, I think, did it say that what they were planning on putting in, something get to know. Yeah, marquees, set bouncy castles, animal farm, photo boards, video, photo booths, whole heap of stuff that they're looking at.
When it comes to like this kind of event, the participants that have been estimated, is that the number of kids involved, or is that, how is that kind of calculated? Is that assuming families as well?
It'll be families as well. So it will be people who've been connected with it through 40 years.
Right.
So they're actually going back to connect with people who've gone through
Wow.
the system and been involved with it. So it could be a whole heap of people that have been involved in the past, people that are involved now. So it's actually participants are based on 40 years.
Like a small jubilee.
Yeah, wow. I personally would like to give the full requested amount. I don't know if there's.
Do you move it? I'll second it.
Yeah, I'll move for the 3,000.
Happy to.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Against, abstentions, carried. With this one, with this school as well, like I think it would be great to sort of think about other ways that we can support too, other than just financially. I mean, it'd be awesome if they, I know that they have parents that are concerned about things like traffic around that area, and there's things that we can talk about with them. So I don't know if in future kind of conversations, I'd really appreciate that they'd be encouraged to come along to board. Or that, you know, that they invite us to, you know, things like this. Yeah. Thanks, Heather. All right. Littleton placing to rise.
This is to improve the track that's currently already at the play centre, which gets congested, and the play that where the track is at the moment, it crosses over the egress system and the gate in and out of the play centre. So this is the play centre next to Pioneer. So what they're looking at, and they've done quite a bit of fundraising, but they can only do so much. So they're applying for $1,000 from here, and they're looking at funding from other sources so that they can try and get the track completed. They're hoping to get it done during the holidays. Obviously, because there's nobody in the place during the holidays, so which is why it's come to us now. And they've requested $1,000 towards the $5,000 prize which has been given for completing the actual track.
Any questions? No?
Is this something that,
Yeah.
the city care team? Yeah. Because that would require serious work, that much work. Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Cool.
I can't answer that question. I mean, all I know is they've already approached somebody and got a quote to do the work, and that's the quote that's come back to get it.
Sorry, did they get more than one quote? Like they might, yeah, they did.
We don't require them to get more than one quote.
Right.
For our funding.
Yeah, it just might be quite good if they can try and get some volunteer labour for this sort of thing to help out as well as a professional.
To be honest, they've already tried to get volunteer labour. They're already doing most of the stuff they can themselves. There's 40 families enrolled. They've been highly active in trying to raise sufficient money to do everything that they've already done at the play centre. And this is the first time they've actually come to the community board for funding as to help them just to get this done. So, but that's the situation we're in at the moment. If you want them to go back and get another quote and choose not to make a decision today, then that's something I can do, but we'll have to then come back to the meeting and get it done.
We're going to do that over that. Right.
Yeah, there's a bit of a tricky time for that. No, yeah, no. Yep, no one's happy to move. Anyone else happy to second? Roy? Cool. Thanks for that. All those in favour? Against, abstentions, carried.
Sorry, who moved that?
It was Mel and Roy. Mel
Yeah.
moved. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Next up, Eddington Farm stormproofing hoop houses. I'm just going to say that although I don't have any material interest in this, I just want to avoid the perception of that. So I'm going to abstain from the conversation and the vote as well. Is there any questions?
Happy to move.
Sarah's happy to move. We've got Sarah and Kier. All those in favour? Against? And I will abstain. Carried. So. Oh, here we go. Recess committee. Exciting stuff.
It is. Hopefully there won't be a need.
Cool. So yeah, summary of this is just that there'll be a quorum of the chair and the deputy chair and any two other members over the summer period or all the way to the delegation. Sarah, did you?
Oh, just checking. I mean, it's fine if you both need to be around, but sometimes you do chair or deputy chair, because then either one of you, if the other one isn't available. Whereas if you say you both have to be here, then you both have to be here. I mean, it's,
Yeah, that's a good point. I think what we've discussed is that we don't necessarily have to be in the same place. We just have to all be, we could be online or something like that. Yeah. So I mean, I'm going to be available the whole summer. At least I'll be contacted by phone. And here will be the same, I imagine.
My
I
question
was
about that,
have a ranger as long as it's, no, I'll do that.
just for quorum's sake, you have to be in person because it's legislation.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
So it changed back
Yeah, it
after
does.
whatever date it
Mm.
was.
yeah, I would suggest
Oh,
or
okay.
chair or deputy chair. I mean, you can have both and any two.
Okay.
Or do we want 4 minimum?
Do we need a quorum? I've actually never asked the question before, but for a recess committee, it doesn't have to have a quorum of the board, does it? It can be small.
Oh,
It can be
it-
small.
Yeah, it's not the same quorum as the full board because it's only a committee of 4 people. This doesn't actually specify what the quorum of the recess committee is, but I would think it would be, the majority of members would need to be there in person. So that does limit it a little bit. So yeah, if you want to amend it so that it's chair or deputy and 3 other members,
Yeah.
that would work.
Yep, let's do that.
Okay. So chair or deputy and 3 other members.
Yeah, I think it was chair or deputy, given
That's only one. Oh, yeah.
that we have to be in person.
Amy, can you change the screen that you're sharing, please?
Oh, sorry. Yep. Let me stop that and share the minutes.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's right. Yeah.
Yep, so I've just changed what you're voting on to
Cool.
be the chair or deputy chair and any 3 other members, so a total of 4.
Cool. Do we have a mover? Mel's moving. Tim's seconding. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Against, abstentions, carried. Cool.
Okay.
Always getting lost in my notes there. We're at the area report. Yeah.
So I'll just take this report as read and answer any questions.
Do you have any questions from the area report, Mel?
Did we know that King Bai got a civic award yesterday?
No, we didn't.
Well, King Bai did.
Oh, congratulations, Kim.
Very
Yeah, that'd be chucked. That's fantastic. Cool.
And the second question, did we know that Carolyn Potter got some sort of award from Roy here, at the Honate Fiesta, which I didn't say.
Ah,
That would be good.
That would be good to include in the report, I think. Yeah.
Can you tell what we?
Oh, it was a card. Commerce.
What was the?
Should we maybe, if you want to just let staff know after and we can, I suppose we can't include it after the.
no, but we'll add it to the next area report.
Yeah.
I think it's important. So I'll get the information and we'll make sure that it's added.
Oh, well, we can tell stories in the news exchange. We can also tell stories offline. Yeah.
Yes, because we are recorded.
Cool. I think we've all just, you know, yep.
So, have there been any, entries to the edible and sustainable garden awards?
14. Fantastic. 14 or 15. Cool. I did have a question, but it's falling out of my head. So if are there any other questions for today? I'll move that the report be accepted. Cool. So that was myself and Sarah for the report, Amy. All those in favour of accepting the report? Aye.
Aye.
Against, abstentions, carried. Fantastic. Okay, so we're now moving to elected members exchange. And yeah, we'll just go around clockwise around the table. I don't know, Sarah, are you feeling ready? Do I want to put you on the spot?
I'm just looking back through my diary.
Okay. We can meet you if you like.
Yeah, it's interesting, because a lot of the stuff I've done is more at the council level around the community, last week, according to well.
That's still relevant to us, yeah.
And then I'm in my head, I'm going, which ones were before our last meeting date? What was our last meeting date?
Yeah, about a month ago.
It's
Quite a while ago. Yeah.
So it was that before or after the King George the celebration was after, so I mentioned it last time. I'm just trying to find our minutes, so I can go back and see what the date of these last.
The meeting was on the 10th of November, if that helps.
Oh, okay. In that case, it does help. In that case, I attended the King George V Reserve celebration in St. Mark's, which was really cool. That had the Criminal Awards, placemaking, National Placemaking Awards, which are new. And we're one of the national recipients of that. And so it was great to get together with Mark Gibson and some of the team there to celebrate and have a delicious locally made vegan cake. And talk to them about the work that they were doing. And the Red Cross Library had its regular book sale, which was well attended as their fundraiser as well, which was really, really good. Few other bits and pieces. There's some issues cropping up. I met with residents on about access to the coastal pathway from Monks Bay. There's a very long section of heritage wall there, and there's a current access way that's going to be blocked off for various reasons to do with the way the coastal pathway is built. So we met at the Christchurch Yacht Club looking at that, and we've had some correspondence about the potential use of the license fees from the Taylor's Mistake Boulder Bay batches. So I've looked that through to Amy today too, and so when the council signed off on the licensing agreement for use of the public road there, we ring-fenced the license fees that came through, which have only been kind of be gathered for about a year now, to do enhancements in the area. So we've had an approach from the Batch Holders Association to start looking at how to use that. So there's a resolution which actually asks the community board to work with the community on the use of those funds, the best for the area to enhance things there. So I guess we'll be getting some info back at some stage on how we start that process. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Will do.
Thanks, Sarah. Tim?
Okay, yeah. Last period seems to be mostly about having fun. The last while for me seems to be mostly about having COVID.
Oh, yeah.
And then getting a respiratory infection.
Oh, no.
Followed on from it, and I'm not used to not being able to do a lot.
How are you doing?
What?
How are you doing now?
Yeah, pretty good. Doing right, but I'm surprised how tired I am.
Mm.
However, there have been some highlights and things that are going on. And one highlight will be the opening of the tidal view section of the Rapanui Cycleway, because that links the estuary, it links the cycleway to the Preston Parkway. And a lot of people turned out in quite appallingly windy weather to celebrate. So it's pretty popular. And what was also very exciting was the furniture that's there. These huge block chairs and tables, and I understand that there's a cultural reason for it, for that particular design, but I'm not quite sure of the background for that. So it's just great to see yet another area that used to be scruffy and unattractive, only used by dedicated experts who absolutely have to now be a place where people can gather and families play and socialise, etc. So that was pretty exciting. There is a meeting coming up next month with the Redcliffs Residents Association are driving it with the Estuary Trust and Coastal Pathway, and I'll be attending in relation to dog rules around the estuary and a plan forward. So it's getting a whole bunch of people together to move forward on this one, so it's pretty cool. And I think it's about it. Oh, the coastal pathway meeting, the board meeting yesterday, governance meeting. Things are going along very well with that. There was a hope that the first section up to the yacht club would be open by Christmas. And as of the beginning of yesterday, that was the understanding, but by midday yesterday, that was now not the understanding, and that's not going to happen. That's very disappointing. However, the project is still very much on track. And, waiting for the penguins that are there to produce their young and move off. The penguins are quite widely spaced out, which means that the area where you can't work is quite a large area. So things are still going very well there.
Excellent, thanks, Tim. Yeah, did you have a update?
Went along to the Craigmore Residents Association committee meeting recently. They did have one, there was one request, which was they would like to have some signage with the wetlands, there's the Craycroft Lakes, with those coming in, there's obviously an increase in water flow, and unfortunately, you know, sometimes the people at the Paradise Lakes do get run over, so they were looking to see if there could be some signage. I think Vickers and another road, I can't remember which one, they were looking to see if there could be some signage about, you know, wildlife presence or whatever. So I've raised that as CSR, that might be something that we could just note.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. Yeah. Did you catch that, Amy?
I heard most of it, that the Craycroft Residents Association is asking for signage for the new wetlands to notify people about birds, but you've suggested they put in a CSR.
I've
what-
watched a CSR, but I'm just a note it here as well. And I can just let you know of the two streets they were thinking about as well. That's the easiest.
Do you just want it noted as part of the members exchange, or do you don't want an actual request put through to staff, do you, since you're lodging a CSR first?
Could we, because it's been a couple of weeks now, so maybe if we could down here at the deck, so maybe if we could follow that up.
Yeah. Yeah, I can follow up the CSR quite easily. And then, yeah, I if you're happy with it, it probably doesn't need to go as a separate request through the meeting at this stage.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
Thanks, Amy. Roy? And remember, we're being recorded.
All right. Yeah, I attended the Kahukura Cultural Festival that was held at People. And there was over 1,000 people from all the schools. It was fantastic. Also, there was a signing off for Rowley Resource Centre to change from a society to probably they might be out celebrating, so show up today. I think they were wanting to
update on that. Oh, right.
Other than that, it's been a long one. I think it's the celebrations in the community and still recovering.
You might have seen, I don't know if anyone here will know, people will probably remember there was a woman, Betty Pollard, who used to come to our Christmas functions, who was in the paper 6 days ago in the victory. She was 93, but she was behind the Emily Clark Reserve and was really passionate about plants and things like that. So and major generation stuff. So you can have a look and stuff if you want to read a bit more about it, and we should have had a minute silence to have a figure about it. And yeah. I went to voluntary library AGMs. There was a power that Sarah was at, and they sent Carolyn Potter for being their previous patron and Sarah for being our new patron. And I went to St Martin's Library 18 years, stock standard like most years. And Tim wasn't there, but I would have had a go at him here. I went to the Hometown Community Centre and they also think Carolyn Potter that's there, and they've got 2 members on the committees. They're doing really well, and they also talked about the extension that they're going to have for the building, which was great. Eddington Fund here that we went to, but if there was rain, you want to. I've met quite a few residents about things, especially roading issues. And Spreydon had that meeting as well. Mentioned about Ken, and the other thing was Kainga Ora, the housing on Domain Terrace, and how they meet with the community about that. Because so there's a big site that Kainga Ora are going to do a development on. It had been bought by my career, and people are concerned because there's great huge elm trees that are got juveniles, and then you might have read about it. But yeah, so I just will
see it.
yeah.
Lee, did you want to give us an update?
Mel, do you want to touch on Jeremy Agar? I think you're probably best placed. Do you want to just mention that briefly?
Well, we had the minute silence at the beginning, but he was the vice chair of Summit Road Society. He had been community board member in Littleton Mount Herbert about a decade ago. He was 80, and he was volunteer. It was part of the Arcus Pass Wildlife Trust, and so they do trekking like up the hills and things like that. So he was doing that. He's really, and he also, he had done lots of things, and was a person who would really give. He had given quite a lot of his own money to the predator-free setup. That was quite a big chunk of money, and I've read some of the things where he's given a lot of money to lots of other things as well. So he was sort of one of those people that did a lot. That was very humble and sort of a rough diamond, I would describe him, really.
I think you're right. He had a beautiful mannerism, and definitely a pioneer in the predator-free space, and a very huge perseverance as well.
Thanks, Mel.
Okay.
And thanks, Lee.
I've been working with a resident on Cashmere Hill just regarding the current condition of what's the Craycroft Reserve, which is basically Cashmere Hill behind the sign of the Tarkahay. It's that general area, really. I've been up there. I don't think we're meeting a level of service that we should be comfortable with. It's one of the spots where the tourist buses go up to. So it might be one of only 2 or 3 spaces where a tourist might come to in Christchurch. It feels very unkempt at the moment, just in terms of, so the resident who's raised this has raised service requests, but just isn't getting the traction that one would expect. I've subsequently raised a couple of service requests, so I think it's at the stage where we should have a conversation with staff just regarding if they've changed the level of service up there, or whether there's been some maintenance changes up there, but I don't feel like we're meeting a good level there. So this is bushes overgrowing the paths. This is the frontage onto the upper Hackthorne Road. This is also the top of Dyer's Pass Road, where you've got the historic loose stone wall leading up to the sign of the Tarkahay. So just in a general sense, it just feels very unkempt. So I think it's at the stage where it'd be great to have some staff advice.
Thanks, Lee. Yeah, well, I'm sure we can seek staff advice. I assume there'd be CSRs in the works as well for those issues.
There is. What we're saying is that they don't seem to be getting the adequate response or a response.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right. Did you catch that, Amy?
Yeah, and you sent me an email about that earlier today, Lee, with sort of all those details. But generally, it sounds like you're asking if the board is happy to ask for staff advice on whether the maintenance can be improved in the area around Craycroft
Yeah, I think
Reserve.
there's a sense that the level of service has changed.
Yeah.
And with it being a tourist destination, whether that's right. I know
Yeah.
we're toying with, we're trying to make savings. So I'm just trying to ascertain exactly what's going on from maybe an urban ranger, or if that's been a general change of their strategy there.
Okay, so on whether the maintenance level of service has decreased.
Or,
Yeah.
or could be improved. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
whichever way you want to look at it.
Can be improved, yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Thank
happy with that.
And I'll tidy that up and add in some of those details about the issues that the residents raised, if the board is happy with that.
Okay, thank you. Probably not the right forum, but I just want to. I circulated an email a couple of days ago just regarding the Cashmere shops and the safer speeds, safer neighbourhoods. Just wondering if I could get a broad sounding of that, because I know that submission needs to be in tomorrow. Is that right, Amy?
Sorry, which submission?
Safer speeds, safer neighbourhoods.
Oh, no, it doesn't close till the 3rd of January.
But our submission.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. Yep, you're asking for broad agreement on whether people are happy to add the things that you suggested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of flexibility on that. I am aiming to get it in by the end of tomorrow, just because I wasn't sure what board members will be away next week. But yeah, it closes the 3rd of January.
Yeah, I know it might get brought, I'm sure it's part of the roundabout, but I think it's quite different. This is a minor activity area where we've got a number of different functioning, we've got a kindy, a primary school, a number of fast food outlets, numerous other retail opportunities. So I'd be grateful for the board support.
Do we have, I don't know, have you guys read the email that Lee sent out this week? Yeah, you've got a question?
So primarily, are we talking about, you mentioned there were just a couple of things that came through. Are we talking about the Warrington Shops area? Or are we talking about up the hill? A couple of different ones. I'm supportive of all of them.
Yeah, the item I'm raising here is the Cashmere shop. So immediately around the areas immediately abutting the roundabout, essentially. So the lower part of Dyers Pass Road, the first probably 50 to 100 metres of Centaurus and Cashmere roads, both sides of the roundabout, and probably going as far north as obviously just past the primary school, or maybe as far as the garage.
Yep, I'm sensing board support. Yep, excellent. Thanks, Lee. Is there anything else?
Thanks, guys. Just one very quick one. Very quickly. I've just heard a bit more of a proliferation of antisocial behaviour, just in terms of vehicles on the hill. So I just want to raise it, just so it's something we're tracking. I know it reared its head about 18 months ago, but I just want to re-raise it just to keep people's that we have still got issues in that space. Okay, thanks, guys.
Cheers. I'll try and keep mine. I just realised how long ago our meeting was, and I'm just thinking, gosh, the Eddington Fun Fair was since our last meeting. Eddington Fun Fair got there was a lot of rain, terrible weather, but they persisted anyway and had a slightly reduced scale market indoors, which was good fun. Mel's talked about the kind of order sort of information session. There was a similar information session around from Waihoro Spreydon around the Brom Street overpass yesterday, which where they presented a set of possible designs to the community, which just anecdotally talking with people in the room, felt like they were supportive of those, which was great. They're definitely trying to make it pedestrian and cycle friendly. So that was really good to see. We also met with Manuka College. The safety thing, So the Eddington Neighbourhood Association final meeting of the year also had the community safety meeting that they had sort of scheduled in. So that was a meeting which I sort of helped MC that, but basically it was a workshop for the community to talk about the ways in which the community feels unsafe, and some ideas for how the community could feel safer and be safer. And we had a talk from police as well. So Roy, we showed up to that, which was great to have him as part of that conversation. And came out with a number of action items, which included lots of ideas for ways of kind of reclaiming the streets and reclaiming the parks, by running events in those places and spaces. Also, community control really got the message out there as well around how they can be of use to the community. And I think the other one that came out and stuck out for me was the desire for a presence-based youth worker in Addington. That was just seen as a need by several people in the community. And of course, Roy reminded everybody that when crimes happen, it's important to report them, even if you feel like it's not going to be followed up, because that's really, because the police really are a data-driven organisation. That's the update from the ANA. Spreydon Neighbourhood Network, Mel touched on that. It was a nice meeting at the end of the year, and we sort of finished it off with some tea and cake and cheese, and that was really nice. So look forward to seeing Sonia and the rest of the team come visit the board in the new year. But I might leave it there. And
I always keep getting Christmas market.
oh yeah, thank you, Christmas market. Yeah, I think with a month-long gap between meetings,
Yeah.
we really need to make a list.
Like, essentially put a thing in my diary to add to, like, as the appointment.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I've seen you all so much more,
Yeah.
recently than that.
Yeah.
So I just-
True, yes, the bus trip. Yeah, huge thanks to staff for organising that. That was absolutely fantastic. And it was just really valuable in lots and lots of ways. It was great to be able to see, obviously, the whole community geographically, but it was also just really helpful time for us as newly elected members and newly formed board to kind of get to know each other and chat about the issues. So just really valuable to have that time. So I appreciate the work you went into that.
Could just in terms of the Addington, the Broad Street overbridge, would it be possible for staff to just contact Walker Tahi and see if something could be circulated to the board about it? Those of us who can make it, or we're at that community meeting, that might be certainly I'd be interested to see where that's going.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So we'll just, did you catch that, Amy? Requesting that the Brom Street, well, the Waihoro send something to the board. I don't know, there's enough that around the Brom Street.
Oh, yeah, I can follow up with them about that. Yeah.
Mel?
And Melanie from Waihoro Tahi yesterday said that they might do an online event that's the same. Because I'm not sure if they necessarily want to distribute the material with I felt, but anyway, they might do an online thing as well. She did say to me.
Yeah. I know that the information even wasn't publicly advertised either. So yeah. Excellent. So is there anything else that needs to be raised today? Otherwise we'll go to Karakia and Singer.
Hopefully, Amy, you has it on the end of an agenda. No.
I'm just bringing it up now.
It's not the right one, but it'll work.
Yeah.
That's right.
And also just big thanks to Grace for battling through with multiple laptops. You've done really well.
Passwords that don't work.
Yeah, well, you can't win if your password's not working. Yeah.
The next one, Amy.
The next one.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. There we go.
Yeah. Unu here, to Tapanui. Te wātia, te mama, te ngākau, te tinana, te wairua, te ara tangata. Koera e rono. Whakairia ake ki runga. Kia tina, tina. Nui e tai. Stop recording.
See, Amy.